On this day, 1 year ago, Mineplex officially shut down forever, and everything changed. not really, but well, I guess for my content it did, but yeah, it's been 1 year. It was just kind of crazy. It doesn't feel like a year, but you know, it feels like an eternity since that day happened. On May 16th, 2023, Mineplex shut down, and now it's same date a year later, and I'm just going to talk about stuff that happened the past year, clear up some confusion, because last time I spoke on this topic, I don't believe I made a video on the day of. I think a couple days later I did, where I talked about like Plexverse and all type of stuff, and ultimately, you know, I guess it's like a continuation of that video where I give updates, because the biggest thing that happened is that Sam Tito obviously bought Mineplex. Like, he is in charge. Now, if you know who Sam Tito is, he was a former admin, a very popular admin back in the day, and he left, I believe, in 2018. He did like Overwatch stuff, and you know, he came back. He bought Mineplex, so you know, this is the best possible outcome. After that point, he announced the Mineplex Studio, which like there's confusion around the Mineplex Studio, and from what I've read, there is no concrete information. You know, this is what I've gathered, what I'm concurring, what's going to happen here. So the Mineplex Studio is this place where you can build mini games for Mineplex. Now, from what I've read and from what I can infer, Mineplex themselves, so Sam Tito and the team, are not making any mini games themselves. So if you go into a server, on the Discord server, and see all their messages like, oh, we're hard at work doing stuff, they're not referring to mini games, they're referring to the studio itself, which is confusing. And you know, you can say like, well, why are they doing that? Why don't they just make the mini games themselves? They want the player base to make the games. They are not making the games, they're making the studio for you to make the games. So I should clarify, groups of people making these games. For example, I mentioned Plexverse. Plexverse got shut down, apparently by Sam Tito, because he didn't want any copycats, and Plexverse came back a couple months later saying they're going to be making some arcade games. So that's pretty cool. They're going to be making games on there. Like I said, this may not be good news for some people, because like, I mean, what people expect is that Mineplex from before it got shut down will be exactly the same. Like, it's basically getting everything back up and running again, but that's not the case. From what I can tell, and they're not hiding either. Mineplex is completely different when it comes back up. I'm expecting it to be different. Maybe the spawn will be the same, maybe the lobby itself will be exactly the same, maybe it will, maybe it won't, I don't know. When it comes to the mini-games themselves, like Super Smash Mobs was confirmed, Micro Battles, you know, so on and so forth, any other games that were from the original server that are going to be built again, they're not going to be the same, because they're not using the same code. I feel like people forget that Mineplex was made in 2013. All the mini games that we all played, that I played, you played, are a decade old. They're from 2013, 2014, 2015. Like, that's from a bygone era of server coding and how servers are made. Servers are made much differently now. Unfortunately, they're not just experiences. A video game within a video game, because ultimately, what Sam Tito wants, and I think what the player base wants, is for there to not be any like we don't want the same thing happening again. We don't want the server to go down to 50 players again. It needs to be a steady amount, which, you know, it's easier said than done. But making a Minecraft server nowadays is really difficult to do. One other thing I want to talk about is the reputation Mineplex has had in the last year, because even though the server hasn't been up and functioning, like, the player base has been very active, like on Discord. A lot of people are very passionate about Mineplex. And even on their Discord server, I see people talk about, oh, like, you talk about their version of Mineplex. And like I said, like, when the server comes up, it's not going to be the same server that we played, you know, before it got shut down. That's not going to be the case. The coding's going to be different. It's going to be different. And there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be upset by that. And when it comes to, you know, their interpretation of Mineplex, like, they believe that Mineplex will stay exactly the same forever, like it was back when they played in 2014, 2015. That's the reality, because when you look at it in the long run, that's why the server got shut down, because Mineplex did not innovate. I was there when the server was at 50 people. I was one of the 50 people left playing in the server in the months before it got shut down. I was there when that was happening. I saw there was no one in any games. There was nothing. Most games had no one on. When I was doing my paintball series, I had to wait until like 8 o'clock at night to have some people on to make those videos. it got ridiculous, and I don't want that happening again. When Mineplex comes back up, I really don't get so annoying. The only game that had people on was Nano Games, and you know what it was like? Cause I still remember the last couple of weeks before Mineplex shut down, you couldn't even get on the server. The server was shut down because they were dealing with crap. The server kept closing down, and I remember the last time I went on Mineplex, and it was cool. I made my paintball episode. I think it was 148. I remember I stopped recording and I just walked in the server a little bit. And before I disconnected, I looked at the Mineplex tree one last time, and I saw it run off into the metaphorical rain. And I pressed disconnect, and that was it. Last time I ever saw Mineplex in its original state, or I guess, in original server IP, because you can go into other copycat servers with the same spawn, but it's not the same. The original Mineplex is gone, and there's nothing to do about it, and this new Mineplex will take over, and so people have this interpretation of what Mineplex will be, but I'm very optimistic about the future of Mineplex in terms of how the server will operate. That's where we're at for this year, 1 year later of Mineplex shutting down. So if you guys enjoyed, hit like, and subscribe. Do you think Mineplex will come back up in 2024? Because some people think it will, maybe, but who knows. But I'm gonna go now, so goodbye everyone.